last year, during the Fort McMurray fire, we had one day when the town of Churchill went black. It was like an eclipse.
Really?
And the lights came on. People were kind of worried. They didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
It was really surreal, and it was from smoke. It didn't last long, but I was out in the park that day. But and everything was a rosy glow of pink and orange.
Really?
Yeah. The photographs from that day, I know for sure which day it was because it was very dramatic.
Wow. And yeah, it's not good. Like they have a scale on 1 to 10 and quality of air, and I think after 7 they don't recommend being outside, and right now they've blown past that.
Well, they're doing that. They're saying don't exercise.
Yeah. And I got a buddy up in Whistler right now that I'm sure he's still biking. He doesn't get to do it often, so
yeah.
But yeah, it's got to be not good for the lungs.
It must be tough for those folks.
Yeah. Oh, we got some right behind us here. It's tough to. I'm stretching out as far as my arms will reach, trying to hold on to the
underwater. Can I give you a hand
cam.
or anything?
It's I'm not too bad for now.
Okay,
Yeah,
let me know, and I can always hold on to this.
No, I just saw the whales pop up here, so I'm.
Oh wow! Look at that behind us.
Yeah, trying to
There's
get
about 10.
Cam pointed at. Only rolled over on his belly there.
Wow! Look at that.
So, I'll try to keep an eye on the comments here, but I know I'm missing a few. Yeah, we're back in the whales. I might get turned around again so we can kind of. Seems like we float around in this spot for a while. Oh yeah, there's a bunch behind us.
Yeah.
That's not gonna let me turn here. There we go.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah. No, we got a. Wow, we're kind of surrounded now. Right behind you there's a bunch, and it's cool with the. Holy man, that guy is missing like half of his whole dorsal ridge, everything on his back. Watch, he'll come up probably up to our right. It looked like it was healed scars, but I haven't seen one that bad before. Oh, where'd he go? He was only like 20 feet off the boat, but he is heading downstream that way. But he had a lot of pieces missing.
Well, about 2 weeks ago, there was Arviat reported that there was a pod heading past Arviat, so we were anticipating at some point we would be getting some orcapods arriving in Churchill. We usually get one per summer.
Yeah.
Usually in August. Usually, I haven't seen one yet myself, but I've seen the photographs, and it's really interesting to see how the beluga whale behavior changes.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, it's quite dramatic.
Terrifying for them.
Yeah, they get very agitated. They start jamming up in the river.
I was gonna say because the estuary is sort of their safe haven.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially when the tide's down, because aside from where they've dredged the right of way for the ships, which is I think 8 meters, I think it's around there. The rest of this,
it's not deep.
It's not.
It's not too deep. No.
Oh, the rest. Oh, I think the rest of the estuary here. I'm sure if they pile up and go upstream, the
yes,
orcas
that's right. They go into the shallows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's surprising. We've been in like shallow water or when the tide's going back out, and I've seen the whales like they do well. And
they do well. They can actually like move in practically no water.
Yeah, it's got to be a freaky period of time for them when they hear those orcas squeaking.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully these waves don't get too much bigger. I know it's tough on the camera too, like.
Oh yeah, it's really probably hard to watch.
Adjusting, yeah. We've had people before say they're tuning out because they're getting seasick.
Yeah, they're getting seasick, yeah. It's windy, but the waves aren't huge.
No, I know, it's surprising.
Interesting, eh? I would expect with this type of a breeze, you'd get
we'd be really rocking
swells,
out here.
Yeah. I guess we're not that close to the mouth of the river, and that's probably helping.
Yeah, some of the days you see out there, and you could watch the waves breaking. It's crazy.
Some of those standing waves are just massive, right at the mouth of the river.
I'd like to actually go down to the point one day if I had the chance to watch them, because I mean, seeing them curl from here, they're huge.
They're massive. Yeah. This river is very deceiving. There's a lot going on in this river. You've got the tides, right, going in and out, but then you've got the river current.
Yeah.
And then you've got the eddies happening, and then you've got the wind.
Yeah.
So all these things just, you have to really know the river well to be plying the waters in and around the Churchill area. And then once you get out into the bay, you have to contend with, 4 meter high tides.
Yeah.
Oh, I hear some action back there. Look at that. Oh.
I like the calves.
Look at the calf, yeah.
They get one little extra tail whip to get their heads up out of the water.
That's incredible.
That sound like a calf noise there. Sounds like a baby. A baby sheep or something.
Cool. Oh my God, they're right there.
That's the other thing.
So
it's like I've been down adjusting the camera or something, and all of a sudden you got a whale like come up for a gasp of air, and it's right in your face. Like it's so wild being this close to them.
There's another researcher out collecting, as she calls it, beluga whale snot, and she would just hold a petri dish on a long stick, and when the whale would come up and blow, she would just collect the blow from it. And I'll be really interested to see what she learns from.
I was going to say, have you heard it? Because we talked about it, and I was wondering, they're looking for stress hormone, cortisol.
That's stress hormones, yeah.
Also, I think what pollutants they might be coming into contact with or absorbing, or toxins in the water.
Oh, is that right?
But I haven't heard, I didn't know if she's going through the data, she's collecting it, or if she has to wait, because I'd be curious to hear the results too, or what she's found. Because Stefan, he did a paper as well on the stress levels, or if we're having any influence on the behavior of the whales being out in the water with them.
Yeah, it would be good to know that. I think everyone's interested in that.
He found, like in the estuary, the Churchill estuary, there's no real signs that we're having a negative impact on the whales, but in the St. Lawrence was another story.
Another story there, yeah. Well, I mean, there are so many environmental stressors from pollution.
Yeah. Bigger ships, more noise.
Bigger ships, and very, very chaotic.
Yeah. So I'd like to see, though, so if we get the results back from the beluga snot and find that the hormones are low, then that sort of helps to confirm that
we're doing okay. We're doing an okay job here with
bunch of happy whales, yeah. Yeah, I was hoping to go for one of the tours out at the study center. I've only been out there like a handful of times, but it hasn't been to actually. I had one tour from Elise that she kind of gave me a run through and showed me some stuff. But
well, it's an interesting building because it's LEED certified, so it's got a lot of really interesting sort of green applications. Things like the way the windows are slanted, so that they're and the way the roof line has been created to kind of keep the sun out in the summertime, but to encourage the sun to come in the wintertime. And it's got composting toilets, and it's got some really interesting air exchanges that that only kind of kick in when a certain humidity level is reached in the room.
Oh.
So it's got a lot of really interesting things that are a really good way to sort of showcase what you can do as far as having a green building.
Yeah, if you start
sustainable
from
building.
Yeah. The crazy thing, since we're so far up north, there's a degree. So if you look at, say, what latitude you are on or whatever, then it'll tell you how to set your solar panels.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and the solar panels here. So generally, I think you set them for the worst time of year. You know, in the middle of winter when the sun's always going to be at its lowest and not directly above. And the panels, if you look at them, like Parker's got on his cabin, they're almost vertical. Like,
is that
they're
right?
sitting basically like that, just
to catch the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's you've probably noticed it since you've been here how how quickly it's getting darker at night, and that's really tough. The summer's starting, and on June, end of June is when the days start getting shorter again.
Yeah.
So already before the summer's even started, you're heading back into the fall. So pretty soon it'll start being more noticeable, and by December 21st we'll have sun coming up sometime around 9:30 or so, and then going to bed around 2:33.
It's so crazy. You're rushing, when you got things to do, you got to get firewood or you got to get water. If you're out checking the trap line or doing things, it's like on those days it's stressful.
You got a lot to do, and you have got very little time to do it.
But I mean now, when you say, do you notice it now? Even last night, I was watching the boat at 9:30, and it was beautiful sky actually last night. That red, all the clouds are lit up by it, but the sun's already dipping. Whereas before, it hardly even goes down.
Yeah, you're walking home in the middle of the night and it's still light out. It's just incredible.
It's weird, yeah. How long have you lived in Churchill?
I've been here for 15 years.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I came up to do my internship at the Churchill Northern Study Center. I was volunteering and finishing up my degree from the University of Toronto in education, and ended up at the study center. And then as I left, I said, "Well, it'd be great to be able to come back here." And about a month later, I got a job offer from the Churchill River Study Center where I done my internship. So I was pretty excited about that and immediately accepted the offer and pretty much been here ever since.
It's like a typical Churchill story where people come for a visit or they come for a bit of work. And you hear a lot of people that even go home, but they're itching to get back and eventually they make the move.
Yeah, that's right.
It's crazy. You talk to all kinds of people in town and it's 7 years, 10 years, 12, 15, 6, 5, whatever. It's a hard place to leave.
It's a hard place to leave.
I think Jessie was discovering that. Apparently, she
fell in love with it on the spot. Yeah.
Yeah, she's saying she's gonna have a hard time going back.
Well, I think for artists, there's so many sources of inspiration here.
Yeah.
That you've got landscapes and you've got seascapes and you've got a plethora of animals and interesting people, plants. Yeah, it's Northern Lights. It's just amazing.
It is like this is a place too. When we were talking about Churchill getting more recognition, it's any time of year you can come here and have your mind blown. Like that's the crazy thing about Churchill.
Yeah.
There's always something. You'll be at the peak Northern Light season. You'll come and I don't know how to describe it. The Northern Lights here that are unreal.
They're unreal. Yeah, it's surreal.
Come in beluga season and see hundreds of beluga whales. Like, where else do you get an opportunity to do something like that? Or polar bear season, like come in and check out the polar bears, which is also
Well, I think too one of the best kept secrets in Churchill is that you can see bears in the summertime.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to see the same numbers you're going to see in polar bear season. But if you get and there's never guarantees with wildlife, but if you get out there, most summers you'll likely see something. So
yeah.
But I find people who come to Churchill are really interesting people. I find they are curious people. I find they're excited to see whatever.
Come from all kinds.
And they come from all over the world. Oh, we've got one on the side here. Juvenile, I think.
Huh. Oh yeah. Still a few hanging out. A couple turns are still diving. I'm excited for the next time. I figured the first time we seen that feeding frenzy, I just couldn't believe it, right?
That's amazing.
I noticed at the beginning of the year when we were kind of testing the equipment out and, we were out on the water just troubleshooting, going through things. I was getting familiar with everything. The whales it's almost like they got to warm up to you. You're out on the water and they're, I don't know, they'll come check you out. And then don't spend a lot of time with you or anything, but now as, the summer's wearing on.
They know you.
They're getting more used to it. And
now they're smart animals too.
Yeah. But yeah, seeing the feeding frenzy, I just couldn't believe it because we were only having a few whales at a time following the boat. And all of a sudden I was like, oh man, hundreds of whales. And then we had it for like 4 days after that too, where it must have just been a pile of capelin moving through or something, because day after day we were sitting out in Cockles Point, and super exciting. You get a kink in your neck by the end of the day because you're just on a swivel. Jesse was talking yesterday that they're trying to figure out where to hang the canvas, the mural.
Yeah.
Is there any top contenders for locations?
Well, I think it's going to be in the complex.
Yeah.
We talked about it at Parks Canada, but it's a heritage building. It's a little bit more difficult to hang stuff in that building, and we think it's something that is best viewed from afar. Like you get more of a pop if you look at it from a distance. So I'm thinking the complex is going to be a great spot for it. There's lots of huge walls.
I was going to say, you can hang it up like nice and high for everyone to see.
Yeah, and Luke, the rec director at the town of Churchill, he's amazing, and he's going to give me a hand with figuring out a good spot to hang that for.
Oh, cool.
It's got grommets in it, so it's easy to hang.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it'll be exciting when we get that up. The kids will be really excited to see that. They're pretty proud of their product.
Yeah, I'll have to go check it out. And
yeah, they did a really nice job with the Art Express mural project for the kids. So
yeah, the photo I seen yesterday looked really nice, and
got
everything Churchill in it.
Yeah, it's a good cross section of Churchill.
Yeah. We got that.
There's the Seanorths too, out on the water.
Oh yeah, they're heading out. Might see Remy later on.
Yeah. Yeah, and the canvases that the adults did is going to be displayed in something called Nuit Blanc. It'll be at the end of September through the Winnipeg Art Gallery.
Oh, okay.
And it's going to be exciting because I've got a piece in that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've never had anything on display in an art gallery before.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Are they doing is it going to be a collage kind of thing all together? Or?
Yeah, all of the Art Express stuff will be in one area, and all of the Churchill canvases will be in one area.
Cool, because they're gonna, if they got the same amount with the other two artists, then they're gonna have like 400 around there.
There's gonna be quite a few. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great. Each one of the canvases is named, and we'll have the name and the artist's name displayed. So I think some people in Churchill are pretty excited about that.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool thing to say.
Cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah, just if you're in Winnipeg, happen to be
check
into
out my
art
page.
Or anything, go down to the gallery.
Well,
and,
we've got some pretty amazing artists in Churchill. I have to say, I'm an artist in training, but we've got some pretty pretty active artists.
Yeah.
And I think the art scene's been really, last couple of years has been really energized. They've got an artist coalition that started, a grassroots organization that's doing some, organizing some events, and you had the Seawall artist who just did a phenomenal job.
Yeah,
that was
so
artists
crazy.
from all over the world who came to Churchill to re-energize some of our buildings that needed a little bit of love.
And it does.
What a job they did. They just did an amazing job. And then Art Express with the Winnipeg Art Gallery, Canada 150 initiative. Super exciting to see all this stuff happening. And the town just looks great.
Mm-hmm. When I got here, I was like, because I left in May and then I was back in July, so it was a short span of time that I was gone. But the first one I noticed was on the Seaport Hotel, and I was like, what? I was like, I didn't see that before. And then I started to see, I was like, there's no way that I know
all that.
Yeah.
I'm not that unobservant. I
couldn't believe that they painted it though. They got all that work done.
They did it in a week. They did it in a week, and it was incredible, because I remember thinking they're way too ambitious. I clearly hadn't met these folks, because they were fast and amazing and really generous to come here, and they were very, very lucky they got great weather. So, they actually did more murals, I think, than they had planned, because the weather was so good. A few of them got finished early. So
it's hard to think that they could hammer off some of those paintings.
I was totally blown away.
Like, there's these big walls, and like some of them are really intricate. The one, is it the old like weather building or something? The two golf balls on the top. I can't remember what they call it. That one's
golf balls.
Yeah, that one's super cool too. It's a really neat mural. Like you said, they're everywhere. We were just driving around taking pictures and looking for bears.
And it's kind of exciting, because you're driving along, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, and you see a mural, and it's somewhere you wouldn't expect it.
Yeah.
Did you see the one on the polar bear compound, the polar bear jail?
Yeah, that one's cool.
That one was cool, eh? They actually used the Quonset hut sort of shape to mimic the bear.
Yeah.
It was really well done.
I really like that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go back and forth on which one's my favorites all the time.
I do too. I love the polar bear and the with the graphic designs on it.
Yeah.
The colorful one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of really, really cool.
The one even just spray painted, or however that was down on the back of the green building by the port, is really neat.
They did a great job on that.
Yeah, and the guys walking on the train tracks, and there's so many of them.
Yeah, and it's nice they used a few people from the community as well.
Yeah.
So they've got, I think, 3 different people that are sort of showcased. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. There's that really crazy one where it's the polar bears and the belugas got like unicorn horns coming out, and the one has like a globe on its head. And polar bears riding on the back of beluga whales. And I've parked across the road a couple times and just stared at that one, trying to figure out what's going on.
I'd love to speak to the artist. I haven't read the write-up on that one and what they were kind of inspired by and what they were thinking, but
it's really
and they're
neat.
Flying through the air, sort of like a dream.
Yeah, it's actually a good, good way to describe
Fantastical.
It's probably something your brain would brew up in a dream.
That's right, exactly what that felt like.
Yeah, I think we were saying yesterday it'd be cool if they just continued on with it. Like, it could be kind of a cool
Well, there's
thing
lots more buildings.
Yeah, there's walls everywhere.
I'd like to officially invite them back next year.
And just continue. It could be a really neat thing in the town.
It really would be. It's like there's a little surprise around every corner. And I was pleasantly surprised how many, owners of buildings allowed them to do the murals on them. So it's.
But like you said, I mean, they're done really well. They look really nice. So crazy not to.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of photos coming in. Keep looking. I think we're having a.
Sorry, what did you say?
I say we're getting lots of photos coming in. I keep looking, and I think we're getting little visits. It's tough to tell in the choppy water.
Okay.
And must have whales cruising by here. Pretty stealthy. Yeah, yesterday it was so nuts having them chase the boat. Like, I think they get up to 25 kilometers, I think is something around their top speed. But they're cruising along and being juvies. They look like we had dolphins chasing us.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad she got out on the boat yesterday. That was great. She was really looking forward to finding other sort of things to inspire her in her artwork.
Yeah, she got a few videos that looked like some good ones on her phone, and it was fun. Hopefully
put on another layer.
Sure. Hopefully she'll get to see some more in Arviat. Or Rankin, I mean, is where she's going, right? Yeah.
Yeah, let's see.
Oh, Jessie commented. Yeah, she's at the airport. She said, "Looking good, guys. Nice weather today." That's funny. Yeah, I'll have to. That was 10 minutes ago, or no, 20 minutes ago. It's tough to read the screen here today. Yeah, that's cool. Simon, he left yesterday as well. Back to the UK for Simon. Yeah, so he said he had an amazing time. This is the first time he was able to come and kind of as a sort of a vacation rather than just working. And the first time he was able to have anything to do with the belugas really. So he said he'll be tuning in. We'll probably see some comments from him. Yeah, it was fun having him out on the boat. I think he got some good video and some awesome pictures as well. Oh man, we are just getting whales passing by. I just seen a couple here now. Awesome. So do they have any, I'm just blown away when we were talking about the isostatic rebound. Do they have any idea then? You said it was 400 meters it was compressed, the mantle?
About 300 meters.
Or 300?
Yeah.
Do they know roughly how much is rebounded yet? Or?
No, but it's still, we do know it's still occurring, so it hasn't fully rebounded yet.
I didn't know, you look at it and you're like, this rock, like everything being compressed, it just doesn't seem, like how is that even?
Doesn't seem possible.
But I suppose you get enough weight with, like you said, 3 kilometers of ice. That's enough to
ice,
probably
snow,
compress
and rock.
anything.
Yeah.
And that's part of what makes the landscape so cool out here. These rocks are just like, you can see they're just scraped and rounded off. And
and that's all glacial action, right?
Yeah.
It's, glaciers remove the topsoil and kind of rounded them off into what the locals refer to as whalebacks.
Oh yeah.
Lots of areas around Cape Mary and out towards, when you're going out towards Miss Piggy there, where it looks like whales.
Yeah.
Juvenile beluga
it's
whales.
It's really nice. It makes, we call them rock rolls for mountain biking.
Oh, is that what you call them, eh? Yeah.
Should have brought my bike up.
Yeah.
The only tricky thing is dodging polar bears. I'm not
that's
interested
a
in
little
that,
tricky.
So. It's Miss Piggy out there, so that's a plane crash. I can't remember the year that it happened. Do you know?
Oh, no.
It was a cargo plane, and they had it overloaded, which is why it got the nickname Miss Piggy, and ended up crash landing shortly after takeoff from the Churchill Airport. And it's the mural on that one is unreal too, because it just goes so well with the landscape and the plane itself.
That was an incredible mural. Yeah. Really.
But the plane, like when you look at where it's landed, where it's crashed and sitting, it looks like it came in and hit the ground and just came to a dead stop. Like the rock or the wing is still bent around the rock. Like it doesn't look like they skidded or slid or bounced around at all. It just looks like they bam. And
I don't know the full story behind that one. I've heard a couple of different stories about why it's called Miss Piggy as well, but differing stories. But nobody was badly injured. They all walked away from that.
Which is wild too when you actually see the plane and what shape it's in.
It's in pretty rough shape. And there was no fire, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So
another spot, just thinking of that I need to get out to. We were close by it in Bird Cove the other day looking for a bear, is the Ithaca.
Yeah.
I want to get out there. You can see that when the tide's all the way out, you could walk
You can walk right up to it. You can walk right in it. Though I wouldn't recommend walking inside of it. I know a few people have done that, but it's pretty rusted out. And I think you likely can fall through the floor in some places.
There's a huge, in the center, there's like a massive area missing where you can see straight through the hull of the ship.
That's right.
And apparently that, that's only been, like Simon said he's been coming here the past 13 years, and I'm not sure how far back he started paying attention, but he's like, that never used to be like that. So it's decaying
it is
fairly rapidly.
Yeah, it's deteriorated quite a bit since I've been here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty cool. You can walk out on the flats of the tidal flats that far.
Yeah, I know it's a ways out there.
Incredible.
You could even see when the tide's going out, when I was driving out there, you could see waves crashing like way offshore.
Yeah.
There's these big sandbars or rock bars, whatever you want to call them.
Well, it makes for pretty treacherous boating in these areas. There's some parts to the east of us in Wapas National Park where the tidal flats go 10 kilometers. I mean, it's just how do you navigate around that? Very treacherous conditions on Hudson Bay.
You can't even hear. It's crazy. You can't even see like a channel for the river if you're sitting on the flats out on the deck or something. We've been out there when the low tide's happening, and you look and it doesn't even look like there's a river here. It just looks like it gets totally, water's gone. There's no flow. But
oh, look, we got a visitor here.
It's starting to get vocal again. This is great too. The clarity of the water is pretty solid still.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
In the past, as soon as the tide starts to head back out, we start to see the visibility go down, and we're covering some ground now. I think with the tide heading out, it's assisting us
and giving us a hand. Yeah, we're moving along. Oh, we've got some off starboard side there.
Oh yeah, rolling around.
Yeah.
Seen a little pectoral fin show up.
Oh, right on.
Just behind us. Okay, now we're getting in the mix again. There's a few heading the other way, and
there's a few behind us. It's underneath the boat. Yep.
See those footprints? It's usually a good sign. From watching, that's my guess. They'll make their quick dives, or if they're in front of the boat, or they all of a sudden decide they want to disappear. You see that big burst of bubble come up and getting rid of some of that buoyancy. Well, at least it's nice and sunny. Like, we still got a pretty cool breeze happening, but see some ducks in the water.
Yeah,
there.
some ducks over there.
There's a whole bunch standing out on the rocks yesterday over by Cape Mary.
Oh yeah.
When we were heading back in.
Eiders?
I'm
common
not sure.
eiders? Yeah, I think that's what that's often what's at Cape Mary.
We've seen the chicks out, I've noticed a few evenings too. I was surprised actually the one night the tide was heading out and you can see the water on the buoys, like it's a lot of water moving. There's a current, I can feel it like big time in the boat, and this mom, she had all her ducklings out, way out in the middle.
Bobbing around.
Yeah.
You can actually see what we're talking about. Cape Mary, you've got a nice view of it off of the starboard side. You can see that little, it looks like a little fort on the top of the hill there.
Yeah.
And that is actually part of the Prince of Wales Fort National Historic Site. And it's the Cape Mary Cannon Battery, and that was a defensive battery to augment the 40 cannons they had at the Prince of Wales Fort.